Bada bing bada boom, you just finished protesting. You're either in a car ride back home or sitting on your bed going over everything that happened in your head. Well, guess what? Your job isn't over yet. Now you take advantage of the momentum you just created. In the final part of this mini-series, this is part 3 of 3, we'll be going over what to do after you protest. Let's get started. It's important to think of a protest as not a finished event in and of itself, but instead a catalyst. In biology and chemistry, a catalyst is not something that necessarily causes a reaction, but something that sparks it, kind of like a match. A match does not necessarily provide the fuel for a fire, but it does start the fire. All protests are the same way. After all, when the March on Washington happened in 1963, it wasn't until 1964 and 1965 that civil rights and voting rights legislation was passed. The climate march on Washington happened last year in December 2018, but wasn't until a few months later that a Green New Deal began to get some traction in Congress. The 4 Earth Strike protests happening this year, 2019, are meant to be catalysts for action on climate change. It's the same with your protest. Since this is an environmental channel, let's say you engage in a protest about Andrew Wheeler. Maybe he did something absolutely idiotic again and you want him removed from office. Well, you organized your protest, talked about it online, and then had it. That protest, although it's after months of planning on your end, is the start of change. Once you finish the event, it's important to go on social media and talk about it. Create accounts for every platform: Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Reddit, Google+. Wait, no, not Google+. Google+ has already been dead. Another thing you could do is to lobby Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer's assaults. Wait, no, those have been dead for a while too. The point is that you can promote it as much as you can, and you can plan the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, whatever protest until the change you want to see happens. Get the word out. Seriously, if this entire episode can be summarized in one phrase, it's get the word out. Part 1 would probably be lay the foundation, part 2 would be put your plans into action, and part 3 is get the word out. Although this isn't a linear progression, once you get the word out, it's time to lay the foundation again. As soon as part 3 ends, part 1 begins. Networking is your ally here. Get the phone number and contact information of everyone that went to your protest. If someone sacrificed time out of their day and put themselves out there for a cause, they care deeply about that cause. Utilize them and strategize together on how to further your impact. If 10 people went to your protest, then you probably get at least 3 other people each to go to another or share information. That's 10 people recruited and 20 people they recruited. And then those 20 people might recruit 2 or 3 people to join the ranks. Basically, your support increases exponentially for every person you add. The actual protest may be over, but the issue at stake isn't. Keep up the fighting spirit and go back to our first video to see what to do for the next protest.
We shared the live stream on Facebook and we called on whoever was viewing to call their representatives to support the Select Committee on Green New Deal. I also, for me personally, I emailed my environmental club back in high school and I told them to do the same, to call their representatives. I think for me personally, it comes down to I'm coming from a place of peace and compassion, because it's so easy to get into shouting matches with people we disagree with. But it's important to see the people we're protesting as human also, with their own similar values, such as wanting to be heard, to feel secure, to feel accepted. And if we can recognize those common values, it's much easier to move forward together.
I don't usually post about these things. Most of my followers aren't German, so they can't come anyways. But I might start posting anyway, because it's a great encouragement. Because I have very little free time, I only participate in the big, central protests where I have time. Follow-up protests are rare for me.
Thank you for watching this episode of Ecocentric. That's all for this mini-series about protesting. It was a real joy to make, and hopefully I taught you, some of you, how to participate in democracy. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. You can also follow us on Instagram at Ecocentric. Let us know in the comments below if this has helped you with any protests, or if you've gone to protesting of an advice of your own. Well, that's all for me. Now it's your turn to save the world. See you next time. Except, well, next time it's just a regular episode. There's no part 4 to this series. Part 4 is part 1. Anyway, see ya.